Hi, everybody, and welcome. Great to see you here at this AMA. My name is Kat Baker from the Success team at Fourth Rev. Really excited to have you here today for today's Ask Me Anything session. We have a wonderful past learner from the King's UX and UI Product Design Career Accelerator. What's wonderful about these sessions is you get to hear the real stories, how things happen, why they happen, what the experience is really like directly from somebody who has just completed the program. So really fresh memories, all of the highs, the challenges, and everything like that. So if you're here for just a little bit more information, or you're thinking, wow, this is the program for me, I just want a little bit more context, then you are in the right place. And today you're going to have the chance to hear a lot of information, get some questions answered, and then you'll get the chance to ask your own questions at the end of the session. So how things are going to run today, I'm going to kick off with an introduction to Anna, who is our past learner. Anna's got a really amazing story, and I can't wait for you to hear it. We've got lots of stuff in there for you, but just before we start, if you do have any questions as we go, I would ask you to pop them in the chat. We have the Zoom Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Just use that. And my colleague is here from the enrolments team as well. Danny, she'll be joining us in the call today, and she might help to get some questions answered as we go through. But the more personal ones for Anna, then we'll get to those probably in about half an hour after I've got some questions for Anna. So let's give Anna a really big welcome. Anna, thank you so much for joining us today. It's late where you are, so we really appreciate your time. If you'd like to pop on your camera and give us a quick introduction.
Hi everyone. Nice to see you here. So I'm Anna. Fresh alumna of the UX UI Product Design Accelerator, and currently I'm in very dark and moist Wellington, in New Zealand. And I used to work at the European Parliament before I moved to New Zealand, and now I am in my new job at the Medical Council of New Zealand, working on a really exciting project that I will tell you on a little bit more later on. And yeah, nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Great introduction and a little sprinkle of a flavour of your journey. It didn't start in New Zealand, but that's where you are now. So lots of steps to find out along the way. So I guess the first question I'd like to ask you is, why did you decide to join this program, the King's UX and UI Product Design Career Accelerator? What stood out to you?
So my main why was that I already knew I was going to move to New Zealand. I didn't know at the time when exactly. But I knew that I will face a completely new job market, and I wanted to be ready for it. I was an expert in European politics, which, of course, if you want to move to the other side of the world, is not so useful. So for me, that was a motivator. I was looking to upskill. I was also quite intimidated by the unknown. I really didn't know anyone in New Zealand. So I really wanted to look at more options and be a bit more competitive when facing the new job market. And when I was searching around, I found UX as a field that I found would be really interesting for me. And also, it kind of gave me a sense of security. Oh, this is something that one can do online later on as a job. So, in case I move over and I won't be able to find a job immediately, I can use my existing connections and then do something remotely for them while I'm locally looking for a job. So it also the field offers some like in between transition possibilities, which for me were a bit like that was reassuring. And of course there is so many UX courses out there. So the way how I searched about it was that I looked for something that is comprehensive. So I didn't want to do a little snippets in one place, and then like a 6 week boot camp here, and then find out, oh, actually I haven't learned enough of this, so I need to like sign up for something else and continue here. So I really wanted something that is all in, which the Accelerator with Kingston Fortref was. Then of course it had the industry experts as teachers, while also the employer project was included. So I knew that, okay, this will not just be theory, this will be very hands-on and practical. And then of course the fact that it was online, because I didn't know whether I was going to be in Belgium the entire time. Will I be traveling? Like with my previous job, I was going to Strasbourg like every 4th week. So that was all those things that I had to take into account. So it was definitely useful that it was online and flexible. And yeah, like I mean, it had the coaching there as well, and that's what I was saying about the facing the new job market. So that was definitely at the time for me super helpful. That it's not just learning, but it's also preparing you for a career transition. And just the little yeah, I mean, the fact that King's was involved in the curriculum was just like a guarantee of quality for me. So there's a lot of reasons, but I would say, yeah, this is really like the main why for me.
Amazing, thank you. That's a really comprehensive answer. And I think you've covered so much of what we do and what's important about the course. I'm listening, going, yeah, I want to do that. Let me sign up. It sounds really cool. And you've taken a big leap into the unknown as well. But I think you did it really strategically. Looking and going, well, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. This is how I can get there. Well, look, I've got these connections. I can do this online. I think you went about things in a really smart way. Yeah, nice one. On the flip side, did you have any hesitations about the program? Is there anything you're like, oh, I'm not sure about this?
Well, I had hesitations about the time commitment. That I think was the biggest one when I was speaking to the enrollment person that you have there. Then well, I was really asking about, hey, so how does this actually work in practice? Like how do you how much is actually in class, how much we're be online but still in class, because I didn't want to just watch the recordings, because of course if you are present you get more out of it than if you're just constantly running behind and trying to catch up with recordings. Then so I had a lot of questions to him about, okay, how is this run, how does it work day to day. And I wasn't actually, when I was signing up, I wasn't actually that sure how my day to day will look with the course on top of my day job, because I was still at the European Parliament and it was quite busy. But at the same time, I was in this post European election kind of slow period. So I was like, yeah, I have to do this term, otherwise I'm not going to do it at all. So that was just kind of me thinking. But yeah, that the time commitment was definitely the first one. Then of course the tuition is one that is considerable, and I sort of compared a little bit, like, okay, so what are actually how much do you actually pay for other courses, and my partner was actually taking a course in project management as well at the time, with a Dublin University. So I as well like looked at, okay, how much does this cost and what does he get out of it compared to what I get out of it. And yeah, in the end I was like, oh, actually this is actually not bad for what I get. So yeah, these were the two things that I was a bit like, okay, that there needs to be a decision, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You have to make sure it works for you, and that you're getting that value. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of your research skills coming through in your answers, which I think probably informed your next move a little bit. So I believe that your new employer actually created a role especially for you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not bad. Well done.
Yeah, yeah, they did. So I applied for a different position. It was a bit supported with the career coach, because how I actually found the position was that she was giving me tips on really to like just cold message everyone in New Zealand. So we were actually making fun with my friends that even before I entered the country, the entire health sector, which I was currently working in and I wanted to stay in, already knew that I was coming before I even set foot in the country. And because I was just asking, like, oh, not like, oh, do you know any job openings? I was more going about, so how is the job market looking right now? I will be arriving in this and this time. Like, can you give me any tips to any like networks that I could meet? And so like it wasn't really too intrusive, and so many people came back to me. And it was at the time where also so many people got fired because the government switched and they like just fired like 6,000 civil servants. So Wellington was just like a place where if you want to be in public health was just the worst. So it's like, okay, well, discouraging, but at the same time I'll keep just asking. And then I found job posted at the Medical Council of New Zealand, and I interviewed for it. And they, in the end, needed someone urgently, and it was still like 2 months before I was coming to New Zealand. And instead of offering me that job, they actually offered me a job they created based on my profile. So they merged my policy experience that I had for like 10 years of policy experience before that and the newly acquired UX design. And now I'm in this very hybrid, weird job that if they advertise it, people will probably think, what is this? but it was really, yeah, it was really tailor-made to what I really wanted to do. And yeah, I didn't even think that was possible, and it was fantastic. And yeah, now I'm in this weird position that now exists. So very happy
That's
about it.
that's amazing, but also down to your own hard work, your networking, and it can be very uncomfortable networking. That I'd imagine those first few emails, you were like, oh, this feels a bit strange, and then you get into it, and then you had the support from the career coach that made it possible for you to do things like that.
Yeah, it does give you confidence that it's not weird to do. Let's put it that way. I was from Brussels, quite used to networking, and I knew that, okay, this is how you get a job, you just talk to people. But I couldn't
Mhm.
really talk to people, so it felt a bit weird. I'm just like adding on LinkedIn random people I've never met and then asking them to help me. Like, why would they do it? But yeah, Kiwis are great. So they were really really welcoming. And even people that would be like a secretary general of a public health agency would get back to me and like, oh, come meet the team when you're over. And everyone's very down to earth in New Zealand, so it's like very different from Brussels when everyone's in their ivory tower. So yeah, that was really nice. So that also relaxed me a little bit. I was just like, okay, even if I don't have a job and I move over there, it will be fine. Like it will settle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. So following on from that, I guess you mentioned before you've evaluated lots of different programs, looked at boot camps, short courses, things like that, and the importance of the King's branding to give that, I guess, academic rigor. Do you think that made a difference in terms of you attaining your new role or what they saw when you came through the door?
Um, Well, they did know where London was, so that was, that was probably it, because my two other university degrees were so one from Czechia, where I'm from Prague, which, yeah, they knew Prague. I don't know if they could necessarily point it on a map, but they knew they knew the name, and they probably never heard of the University of Leuven, which is where I did my politics degree, which is a small town in Belgium. But in general, like, that was a big, like, people, when I actually finished the course finally, when we handed it the last assignment and I had my last presentation, I was already in the role. And they were really like, everyone just like, oh, this is fantastic, and congratulations, amazing. And then it was like a big deal. So they do recognize the name, and they also recognize the fact that, yeah, you've been working on it for a long time. So
Yeah.
they were quite, also understanding that they knew that, okay, Anna will be cranky every morning for the next 6 weeks, because every day she's coming back after spending nights doing wireframes, and then she has to work for us during the day. So it was, they were aware that this was happening. But yeah, they definitely recognize the name, which is a plus.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely a huge bonus and a door opener. Oh, your day-to-day work in this amazing job created especially for you, what do you feel you kind of refer to most from the program? What skills did you gain that are most useful to you in your day-to-day work?
So I would say discovery research. I've always done, even before in politics, you have to kind of crunch down big like big volumes of technical information and then
Mhm.
translate it into something that politicians understand. So I was quite used to doing that, but I just feel I became way more efficient with it because
Mm.
there's just there's just the methods that we learned throughout the course, like being it, like coding and affinity mapping and just like really how to crunch together the interviews and how to actually pull the insights out of the data.
Mm.
That was so useful, and I'm using it really every day. And also how to properly, because in my project we're running a big survey on like medical trainee experience.
Mm.
So also how to do surveys well, so you don't have like leading questions, and how you properly do Likert scales, how you reduce cognitive load if you have to ask someone 100 questions without tiring them out, and things like that. So these things on the research are definitely the most sort of obvious, or like the ones that I mostly use. And then the second would be just understanding tech and the field, because we're also building a website, and we do have a developer that we're working with, and we do have designers, and I'm kind of sitting in the middle of my
Mm.
like scientific team, and like the high level managers and the researchers, and then there's the design team and the developers, and they really don't understand each other, and I'm kind of the translator in the middle who translates what people mean when things are said in meetings. So that's also really useful.
I mean, that skill alone makes you a really valuable team member to be that connection point between all of these experts that can't necessarily have the conversation that moves things forward, but also have the data to back it up. This is what our survey said, and you can be really confident in that data because you know I've gone about things the right way. I have got really good kind of questions, information coming in. That means the data coming out will be really good, and you have the skills to analyze it. Amazing. How did the employer project prepare you for working in a team with different people doing different things in different ways?
Well, I think I got a bit spoiled on the employer project because my team was just so good. And I feel like, that the team culture within the team in my employer project was just so supportive. So, like we had different things happening. So be it my new job and the like 11-hour time difference with the rest of my team, or someone had like a sick family member and things like that, and
Mm.
there was always someone, even when we had the meetings, and we just distributed the tasks, and then one person all of a sudden, ooh, this happened, I need to go to the hospital, I need to do this, and then there was always everyone else who's just like very hands-on, very like, oh, don't worry about it, take the 2 days off or whatever you need, we will take it over immediately. We met, we redistributed, and everything was moving really quickly. I feel like I've worked in a lot of different teams and I haven't seen that yet. I was just like all so eager. So I think that that was just like when I was actually done with the project, and I was kind of like moving, okay, now I'm just like in my work environment. And just like looking back, it's just like that was really a dream team. Like I haven't seen it yet live, but I would love to have seen it like at some point, how it works. But it definitely teaches you about, because we had to rotate who leads
Mhm.
the team, and then you have a few people that truly lead the team, even when they're not lead on that week. So it really like teaches you a lot about the dynamic, and it's really fun to observe when you have a person who really loves just like reading a lot of data and just doing things in quiet, and then they're like pushed into the lead role of the team,
Mhm.
and then yeah, that other person just does it for them anyway. So it's just like that was quite funny to observe. But yeah, the employer project was amazing. Like it definitely is a good, like really good add-on on top of the course. because also you get to see the amount of things you've learned, because this is you kind of doing the process all over again, right? So you like through the first three courses, you kind of like following up the UX journey, and then you get to do it all over again, but in accelerated time frame.
Yeah.
And then there's no time to not know, anymore. It's just like bam, 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 bam. Things need to happen. Deadlines are there, and everyone is busy. So yeah, it was amazing on both the teamwork, but also on the fact that it just kind of demonstrates how much knowledge you've acquired throughout the course.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to admit to my bias here. I love the employer project, and for exactly the what you mentioned, there's this point when the bulb goes off and everyone goes, "Oh wow, I'm a UX researcher, I'm a UX designer, I'm a product designer," and that confidence and the joy that comes through in the final presentations. Everyone fights to be the host of those presentations because everyone's like, no, we want to see this. This is the culmination of so much hard work, and the warm and fuzzy feelings it gives us is amazing. And to see the confidence and the quality in the final presentations, and everyone just so proud of what they've achieved. It's a really nice thing. And I think the culmination of that at the end of three courses of really hard individual work, and then you come together and you get to get peer recognition of what you've done,
Yeah.
and you get industry recognition as well. Yeah, I love it. Glad you enjoyed it as well and had such an amazing team by the sound of it.
Yeah, it was really nice.
In terms of kind of your portfolio, I believe that you worked quite hard on that to showcase your skills. Did you find that was worthwhile? That's the effort that you put into that.
So I put effort into having the materials, but I must say that my portfolio still needs to see the light of day, because I just had like the move and the job that just came in before I even put the portfolio. But I was very mindful of the fact that typically portfolio would have at least 4 case studies, or that was like really recommended by everyone. It was like 4, 4, 4, 4, and I was counting. And throughout the course, you get 3 pretty good ones. You get the app that you're building throughout the 3 courses. That also you can split in 2 case studies possibly if you want, or you can just keep it as one. Then you have the employer project. Then you also have like one of the assignments is a critical review of a feature of an app or a website, which is actually that you have to publish as a case study. So that's a case study on its own. So you have 3 from the course. And then I felt, okay, I will want to go into health. I need to have health sort of experience also in the portfolio. So I actually reached out to an NGO, which I worked with on different policy issues. And like we had a chat, and I was telling them, oh, I'm doing this course as well. And we were talking about just, like some political things that we were doing at the parliament at the time. And they said, oh, actually, we're now doing our website. We're thinking about like upgrading it. Would you be interested in looking into it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm just finishing that actually. And yeah, it was just like random, but it was quite easy to pick up a volunteering project, because just like everyone, all the NGOs are looking for free work. So if you have time to spare, or if they even, they can pay you, they probably it's pennies compared to for them, they would be even happy to pay you, because if they were just getting it professionally done, they would have spent more time. But yeah, I did this pro bono for them, and yeah, it was a great experience, and it was something different on top, and it was, yeah,
Mm.
again, real world scenario, and I had to like understand the audiences really well and just like help them navigate throughout like yeah, how things are going to be presented. So I had 4, and yeah, it needs to be polished and published still.
You'll get there, but you've already achieved your objective, and I think you've done really amazingly well to balance everything, and to kind of to work, to move countries, to find that time, deal with the time zone, and do a volunteering project, to uplift your skills and your profile. Amazing. how did you manage to find that balance to fit everything in? Was it driven by your motivation, your organization, bit of both?
Yeah, that took a lot because the program's really busy. I didn't have any experience prior with UX design or with graphic design, very little, not with marketing. So not in those like kind of related fields. So for me, all of it was really new. So I took quite a long time to kind of, yeah, like make sure that I'm understanding. And of course I had to overcome my perfectionism, which was yeah, that took a lot of time because I there was always something to make better, to iterate things.
Yeah.
And at some points I really needed to be like, okay, this is good enough. I'm going to move on now with my life because I have so many other things going on. And yeah, but it was quite hard to juggle. But if you just set your objectives and then yeah, you organize your day, it's not, I mean, yeah, where there's a will, there's a day, there's a way. Because I had times when we were moving over from Belgium actually, and we were on the way to New Zealand. We were stopping over at relatives in Australia, and then we rented an off-road car and we went for this week-long trip along the coast. And then at the time it was a deadline for the course 3 assignment that week, and I was thinking, okay, I don't even have reception really here, so I'm gonna get an extension. And then in the end I was just like, no, actually I don't want an extension. I want to be done with it. So I was sitting in the off-road car in like middle of nowhere doing my high fidelity prototype while my boyfriend was like sleeping in the rooftop tent above me. And I was just like there, kangaroos jumping around because they always come out when it's dark. So it was like no one there, pitch dark, and me just like on my laptop. So there were things like that, but I was just like, okay, I'm done with it. So yeah, I'm very much like OCD, everything has to fall in place, and then I'm happy. So that helped. And yeah, just the willingness to kind of not drag it out as well and just stick to the
Yeah.
deadline. I think that the fact that the course is very structured
Mm,
really helps you to keep up, because you have the different weeks and you know exactly what you have to do within the week. So
yeah.
you have some activities that are not compulsory and you can do it if you have time, but they're not essential. There's some that are not graded, but they're quite essential for what you're doing. And then there's the assignments, which of course they are graded. So you ideally want to receive the highest mark possible. So you kind of know each week exactly where you are supposed to be in order to keep on track to deliver in those 6 weeks the final assignment.
That visual of you sitting in kind of a camper van 4-wheel drive in the middle of the bush, kangaroos bouncing around, furiously typing away, working on a wireframe. I mean, that's enduring. I think that's real dedication, isn't it? So if anyone's wondering, can I fit this in with my full-time job? Take a leaf from Anna's book. The answer is yes, if you really want to. So yeah, well done. It's really inspiring to hear that and to see how far you've taken yourself. You've done an incredible job. And you did touch upon the kind of the structure of the course, and that was helpful for keeping you on track. And like that's really great for us to hear. We do try and kind of give really structured guidelines and things like that because people are busy. There's more going on than one
Mm.
course. There's more going on than one job. So we do try and kind of give a lot of structure to help your soundtrack. So it's really great to hear that was useful. Thank you. And you've also mentioned your career coach a little bit. I know that you found that quite helpful to prepare you. Do you want to just kind of speak a little bit more about that experience and maybe the kind of the motivation you got from people you were working with on the course as well, your classmates?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of support throughout. So we can start with the career coach, that it's really individual. So I think that different people come in the course with different expectations. They come, with different backgrounds. Some people are very comfortable networking and have all their you know, like they know how to do the CV, they know how to do the cover letter. So, you know, some people are, you know, I never had to do a CV. I just walked into the job because I happened to be in a, you know, place where you know, an interview is enough, and that's, you know, it just depends. So they really tailor it because it's one-on-one help, so they really tailor it to exactly what you need. So we were a lot looking at what is the New Zealand standard, what is okay to do there, and you know, then I was talking about the outreach to people. And yeah, it's incredible. It's, you know, you can get anything out of it. For me, the really probably the most valuable thing out of the career coaching was that it actually made me, because you have to fill out some documents before you go into coaching, and you have to find out what are your career values. And that for me was a big one because I never really thought of them. And then I actually, there is like multiple exercises that you can do to actually find them out, and then you like grade them. And then yeah, it just like helped me so much to focus. Like I didn't, you know, I could like look at different jobs and be like, yeah, I know I wouldn't be happy in this one or this one, so I just completely disregard those. And I think that this and this could kind of, you know, like fit what I'm looking for. So I'm going to focus on, you know, tailoring my applications to them, because that's just where I want to work, and not just, you know, earning money, but also like thinking a bit more about it. So for me, that was incredibly useful. And down the line, it's a lot of saving of time.
Mm.
Um, then yeah, then you get the individual, where of course there's online classes, so you can ask any questions throughout those classes, but you also get each course one-on-one session with the course facilitator, so you can ask any questions also about your portfolio, about, you know, jobs, about the assignments you're working on. So that hour is for you, and you can spend it as you want. Or I think half an hour, maybe it's half an hour. I think it's an hour with the career coach and a half an hour with the facilitator. And then yeah, then the peers, we had an amazing cohort. We had a WhatsApp group, and then every time people would have any problem, be it linked to an assignment, linked to more general questions, linked to job hunting, linked to, oh guys, I just posted my portfolio, can you you know, give me some feedback? So like we had it constantly active throughout the course. So, and it's still active now. So people are still sending jobs there and be like, oh, have you seen this job open there and there? So they're still supporting each other. And yeah, so there's a great support system, and you will find friends as well throughout the course,
Mm.
which is great.
Amazing.
And maybe colleagues.
Look, you never know.
Never
The
know.
potential is there. We've had people who've recommended each other for jobs. Even had two startup companies form from the cohorts, which is like that's really great to see. And so much other support. Your career coach, your facilitator, each other. It sounds like you've really lifted each other up, but also you made the most of that support. You put the effort in at the start to get those questions done with the career coaches. I work quite closely with the career coaches, and what a fabulous bunch of people. I always say to people, they can ask you big questions. You'll step back and go,
Mm.
never thought about that. And that seems like it's
Yeah.
really paid off in your job search, that you were able to say, this is what I actually want. This is what's going to make me happy, fulfilled, and also pay the bills, which is really important.
Yes.
And we're coming to the end of our questions now, Anna. I've really enjoyed kind of hearing more about your story and it coming to life. Just wondered for anybody who's on the call today, or might be watching it back, if they're trying to make the decision, is this course right for me? Is this career path right for me? What sort of advice would you give them?
Well, I would say the most important one is knowing your why. That takes a while, and it doesn't have to be necessarily concrete. Like I didn't really know what I wanted to work as. I knew I wanted to get a job and be happy in it. And then my values kind of led me to knowing what I need to hit in order to be happy in the next job. But I would say knowing more or less where you want to go is very useful. because that also is linked to your motivation, because you have to keep being motivated in order to succeed in the course. You have to keep being motivated for a few months, which sometimes can feel a bit long. Like, I mean, you're through one course and then another starts in a week and you're like, okay, all over again, you know? So you have to like keep yourself motivated. And if you're not really feeling it, you will probably not be motivated to finish it and to put all into it. Then second is, of course, make sure that you have time for it. So if we had people that had children and, like dependent parents and a job on the side and all that. So yeah, and they were still able to make it work. I was still able to make it work in a job and in a transition. So yeah, it's not like I have to be in between places. That's not necessarily like you can manage when you're not in between places, but you still need to dedicate a decent amount of hours to it every week, especially in course two, where you're doing all of the wireframing and prototyping for the first time. Like there were days when I didn't really budget for learning the program, like Figma. So like that was like 3 days unbudgeted for me, which like threw me completely off my, very tediously done schedule. So yeah, like you have to come with the fact that yeah, it does take time to learn things and then make the assignments. And then yeah, third one would be yeah, probably just like be fine without, yeah, that's one for me, like be fine that it's not perfect and be happy that you accept feedback. Don't take it, like too seriously, because everyone's learning. It's a very positive environment. We're not trying to outshine each other. So it's really the time to take things in and do mistakes and then not do them while you're hired by someone. So I would say that really.
That's really great advice. And I think that what you've said is make sure it's right for you, make sure you've got the time, and then just really put your heart and soul into it. And give yourself grace when things aren't perfect. Things are never finished, especially with design. Like you could spend an hour on one blue button, or you could spend kind of 4 hours. Is this have I got this detail right? Have I got that detail right? But getting that progress, getting to the end. Yeah, it's really good advice. And I have one final question, if you don't mind, before we hand over to Danny and open the floor for questions. As you look back, have that moment of reflection, what's a moment that really stood out for you within the experience?
Well, you mentioned it that for you guys, the best part is the final presentation, and that's the moment I will also remember, because in our team we worked on everything really tightly together, but then when we had to decide who's presenting, and then you're trying to not to go over 15 minutes, and you have 5 people involved, and we're like, it would be ridiculous if we all took 3 minutes just because we are trying to speak or show Sky, who we did the employer project with, that we are there. So we said no, it's going to be one person. We just really want a coherent story that's a more important than an individual in the team. And then so I got to watch it, and it was so good. Like, it's so different from if you're actually doing it and you're in it. And then if you have to present it, because it's also great that you have to present at the end of each course, because that's kind of building your portfolio throughout. So it's like very handy because you have all the materials ready. But I got to watch it and it was so good. And we also made them quite speechless, and they were like, wow, oh wow, okay. So that was like watching the show and watching their reaction was definitely like the most powerful moment out of it. And we were then like on a debrief call after, and we were all absolutely buzzing, and it was past midnight in New Zealand, and I was like, I couldn't sleep for like 2 more hours and was a complete zombie the next day at work, but it was great. Worth it.
Amazing. Oh yeah, watching that back and going, this is me, I did this is my team. And to have that reaction from such a like respected organization as the people from Sky, yeah, Well done. Huge congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, taking the time from your evening. And I can't wait to see what you do next in your career. I'm sure there's many more moves to come. But thank you so much, Anna. You've shared so much about your journey, the highs, the challenges. I really appreciate it. And that image of your course resubmission is going to be coming to folklore of you just there in the bush with the kangs running around you getting that submission in. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'm going to pass over to my colleague Danny, who will field any questions we have. So thank you, and I'll see you again. Bye.
Thanks, Kat. Bye.
Thank you so much, Kat, and to Anna for sharing your story and your experience with us on the Career Accelerator. It's always such a pleasure for me to hear from our learners and to hear the kind of ins and outs of the program. With that being said, I do want to just give a brief overview of what that program could look like. Although Anna, you went into incredible detail there, you almost have done my part for me. But for those in attendance for the webinar, the program is a 6-month online program. It is part-time. So, as Anna mentioned, you spend about 20 hours per week on the program, and it's quite flexible in terms of being able to balance it with your full-time job, your family, or anything, or a trip to the bush. And it's designed for working professionals so that it can fit into a busy schedule. The next program does begin on the 21st of July, and so we are currently taking in applications. I do want to mention that we do keep our cohorts quite small. As Anna mentioned, we want to make sure that by you're doing the employer project, you are familiar with who you're working with, and we can really kind of focus on that team building, team spirit, and teamwork for it. So we only opened 45 places on our program, and currently we have 28 places reserved, and we have more than 200 people interested in the program. So I really encourage you to reach out to your enrollment advisor after this if Anna's story has resonated with you, and if the UX design is where you want to take your career next. The program, as Anna touched on, it does teach the whole UX journey from the discovery phase, from the user research, all the way to high fidelity prototyping and actually the wire frameworks as well. It gives you real world industry experience. That's one of the benefits of doing a career accelerator with King's. It's that you have that academic foundation and that academic trust from an institute like King's College London, but then we have industry contribution, industry knowledge, industry facilitators on the program. So you're getting the academic side, but you're getting the application in the real world and how to leverage it with your transferable skills and to kind of help you create a career path based from that. As I've touched on, it was flexible. It's completely online. You can do it from anywhere in the world, whether you're in Brussels or in New Zealand or in the UK. And it is very job market orientated. We want you to be able to market yourselves and to achieve your career goals through the program. You will work quite closely with a career coach to determine what those career goals are and how we can help you unlock those. And then again, you do work really hard on a digital portfolio of evidence that you can use to showcase what you've been able to do on the program and showing that hands-on experience that you have. And that will be able to allow you to also showcase to a future employer what you're able to do and contribute to the role that you're looking at. I'll get into more about the program, but I'm going to open up maybe the Q&A now and just see if there are any specific questions that I can get to. And the first one is, can you join this program if you have no experience? I'm going to assume you mean no UX experience. And yes, absolutely. We do take learners all the time that don't have any UX, UI, or product design experience for our program. We do, however, have specific entry criteria for our program. So we do require you to have either a completed undergrad degree or above, and we do ask you to provide that certificate for us. And then we also ask you for your CV to look at your work experience to assess, if you don't have an undergrad degree, potentially you do have relevant work experience that can help contribute to the success in the program. And that's why I really encourage you to speak to an enrollment advisor about your specific skills that you currently have and what you're hoping to achieve through the program, and they can really help guide you in that decision making process. Are all the sessions online, or can you go to campus? So the program is 100% online. As Anna demonstrated, you can literally do it from anywhere in the world. The most part of the program is going to be asynchronous, so you can kind of create it around your own schedule. There are, however, a few weekly live sessions. And then again, in the final part of the program for that final 6 weeks, when we do the employer project, that can be done asynchronously or synchronously. That's up to you and your group to decide on how you want to, how you'd like to manage that, but 100% online. There are so many programs out there. What sets this one apart, and is the cost worth it? So you're right. There are a lot of UX programs out there, and I think it's really important to answer this question for yourself by starting at the end. What are you looking to achieve through a program like this? And that's, again, where your enrollment advisor will really help sit down with you and map that out for you. What I can say about this particular program is that it's a King's College London program. They are, one of the top 20 universities, and so globally recognized. So you get a certificate of completion from King's, which really helps with your marketability and recognized in the world. And then you work really hard on your digital portfolio of evidence. And as Anna mentioned, through this program, you get 3 case studies that you can present for that digital portfolio, but it also sets you up with the ability, the success, the knowledge to go forth and take on additional projects to build that portfolio, or potentially land a role through that. For me, one of the best parts about these career accelerators is the support that you get on the program. So you have, Kat, who, is in the support team, and they're really dedicated to supporting you through successfully completing the program. Any kind of time commitments you might have, you always have someone to reach out to. You have academic support through the course facilitators on the program. And then you also have your career coach on the program. And that support structure helps every learner that comes into the program have such a unique experience and a unique journey through the program. And it's really tailored to what it is that you're looking for, and how can we leverage your transferable skills, leverage the skills on the program, and really work on yourself and what it is that you want to achieve, working on your why, working on your purpose. Not everyone that comes into the program wants a job change. They want to potentially start consulting, or someone already is in a role but wants to formalize that experience, or someone's really struggling with imposter syndrome or public speaking. Your career coach really helps you tailor that experience through the program, which is unique to every learner. And that's, for me, what sets this program apart from the other programs that are available. How long does the program run for, and what is needed? Do I have to buy books, or what is included? Great question. The program is a 6-month program. It's completely online. You will need to have access to the internet and to have a computer that can run some of the software that we use, which is Miro and Figma for the program. You do not need to buy books. We provide you all the resources that you need for the program. So everything is available through your online learning campus in terms of what you would need to successfully complete the program. And then you would also need the entry criteria, as mentioned earlier. I do encourage you to speak with an enrollment advisor just to make sure that this is the right program for you. Who is the employer project with? As Anna mentioned, her employer project was with Sky. We do have various employer projects, and for the next upcoming one, it's with Creative Navy, which is a UX UI design agency, a globally recognized design agency, and you could work with one of their clients. The previous one, or the current one, would be to work with a healthcare booking app. They've got a client called Harley Hospital, and it's focused on the healthcare and UX design, designing a mobile appointment booking app for a hospital network. What's amazing about the employer project is that it is relevant and it's real. So you get that hands-on experience of what it would be like to be a UX or UI designer in a specific industry, or if in a specific space. If healthcare is your project and it's not something that it's not where you want to go, the experience and the transferable skills of doing that project are still relevant. And all the projects, they do tend to change to see, you know, what our employer partner needs at the time. And that speaks to the realness of the employer projects that you would be doing on the program. Just maybe for a little bit more context there, the program is almost broken up into 4 sections. You have course 1, course 2, course 3, and then you have your employer project. Course 1, 2, and 3 really sets you up with the foundations that are required for you to succeed through the employer project. And everything that's applied in those 3 parts of the program would be applied in the employer project. So you'll have an opportunity to be able to contribute to the whole UX journey through course 1, 2, and 3, and then maybe a dedicated part of the journey for the employer project. Or as Anna's team did, you all work very closely on all segments of that UX journey. Is there any support after the program? Another great question. There's various kind of networking opportunities after the program with your alumni. You know, as Anna said, she's still in a WhatsApp group from her cohort, which is incredible. I really, you know, that's one of the values of having a smaller cohort and limited spaces on a program like this, is that you're able to build that networking opportunity. We also have an alumni support group where you get access to anyone else that has finished a King's College London Career Accelerator to continue growing that network. And then you also have your career coaching available to you 6 months after the program finishes. The career coaches work on an outcome-based approach where they're really dedicated to you identifying what that career goal is and working on a tailored approach on how to achieve that career goal for the program. Another question is, are there still spaces on the program? There are still some spaces available on the program. As I mentioned, we do keep it limited to about 45 places, and we have 28 reserved at the moment. I do encourage, if you are interested in the program, to reach out to your enrollment advisor and to just have a chat with them, chat to them a little bit about why you're considering UX design, what it is that you currently do, and really to see if those outcomes are matched to what it is that you're looking for. What I can also mention is, at the moment, we're running a portfolio booster pack, where if you do apply and commit by the 27th of June, which is tomorrow, you would get access to a portfolio Kickstart guide and a Figma Pro subscription for the duration of the program, which would be really amazing for building your portfolio and for working on those case studies for future career growth. I'm not sure if there are any other questions, but if you do have any, you can book a meeting in the chat. There's a meeting link there, or if you've already been in touch with your enrollment advisor, I might also encourage them to reach out to you just for some feedback on the webinar and see how you're feeling about this decision. They really are dedicated to helping you make the best decision for yourself. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. And Anna, Kat, thank you to you as well. It was lovely. It was lovely hearing your story.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day. Sleep
Bye.
tight.
Thanks.